Hello and welcome everyone. I am Prophetess Brandy Moss, and today we are going over the cycles of riches and poverty. Before we begin, I would like to invite you to connect with me. You can reach me on my YouTube at ProphetessBrandyMoss, on Instagram at ProphetessBrandyMoss, on Twitter at ProphetessBMoss, or on my website, which is www.ProphetessBrandyMoss.com, or you can come and worship with me at New Destiny Worship Center in Raleigh, North Carolina. As I stated before, we are going to go over the cycle of riches and poverty. And the first step in this cycle is going to be riches. The scriptural reference for the riches is going to come from Deuteronomy 8:18, which states, "But remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you the ability to produce wealth and so confirm His covenant, which He swore to your ancestors as it is today." So what we want to do in this phase of the cycle is to be mindful of the fact that it is always the Lord, our God, who gives us the ability and the skills and the knowledge to produce wealth. Without Him, we do not have the ability to do these things, because we have to be mindful that it is nothing of ourselves that we're able to do anything. He is the one who breathed life into us. And if at any moment He decides to take that away, then you won't be able to do anything. It is our spirit that moves and, allows for our flesh to do the things that it does. We also want to be mindful of He gives us the ability, or has given our ancestors the ability to provide us with inheritances. They also taught us skills, everyday life skills of how to survive and things of that nature in different circumstances. And the Lord has also provided us with opportunities to show forth who He is within you and show forth His power within you and let you be that light of the world. So in all ways, we want to acknowledge Him, and we want to be mindful of the fact that it is the Lord our God who gives us the ability to produce wealth. The second phase in the cycle is going to be the testing phase. The scriptural reference for the testing phase is going to come from Psalms 62:10. And this states, "Do not trust in extortion or put vain hope in stolen goods. Though your riches increase, do not set your heart on them." Okay, so we don't want to put our hopes in the fact that we know more than the next person, and so we're able to capitalize on our skills and abilities that the Lord allowed for us to have. But we do not want to set our heart on those things, but we want to still continuously do what it is the Lord wants us to do with our riches and our wealth that He's given unto us. And we do have things that we were given to do, which is, take care of the widows and be fathers to the fatherless, and take care of the orphans, and help the homeless, and be that person that if someone needs your help, you be there for them, even if it's financially. If they say, my lights are going to get turned off, can you help me in any way, shape, or form? $10 can help, then be willing and ready to do those things for that person. We also want to be mindful that we're being watchful of the needs of others. We also have to be mindful of the fact that we need to be able to use discernment for evil motives, because sometimes, people, scheme and scam, and, they steal, and they might do anything to have, that wealth, or seem as if they have riches or have these goods, but they may have stolen those goods, and we have no idea. So we don't set our heart on them, because at any moment, we could not have them, or they could be taken away, or whatever the case may be. And we want to also be mindful that we are to dedicate our riches to God. No matter what's going on, we say, Lord, I give this back to you. Whatever you want me to do with it, then that's what I'm going to do. The third phase in this cycle is going to be poverty. So what we've gone over so far is the riches phase, which is going to, we start out all good and we got it like that now. And then we go into testing. How are you going to handle the money that I've allowed for you to get? Where is your heart at during that time? Do you feel like I don't need you anymore, Lord God? Or do you feel like, Lord God, help me to maintain it and do what you want me to do with it? But then there comes a point in time where we hit poverty, where we hit that moment of, wait a minute. And our scriptural reference is going to come from Job 1:21, which states, naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I will depart. The Lord gave, and the Lord hath taken away. May the name of the Lord be praised. So what Job is letting us know in this situation, I came into this world with nothing, and I will leave this world with nothing. Everything that we have is just something that we have to sustain us during the time that we are here. Even our flesh is something to sustain us while we are walking this earth. And we have to be mindful of that. We have to be mindful that this is just like a spacesuit. This is helping us to stay grounded, helping us to stay down here, because our spirit, is free to move about. If you were not in the flesh anymore, you would be able to go and do and fly here and fly there and, walk through walls or whatever, it's the unseen world. So you have to be mindful of that portion. And we also want to say, that during our moments of poverty, there's going to be sacrificial giving. We're going to give to others, but it's going to have to be, counted as a sacrifice, because we don't have it like that right now. We're not in the riches phase anymore. We don't have it like that. So I'm going to make this sacrifice and, give what I have, or give what I can give, and make some sacrifices and cut back on some things. I might not be able to go to the grocery store every other day. I might have to just go once a week. You have to be mindful of the sacrifices that you have to make. Or I can't go out this weekend because I need to make sure that, my lights are going to be on, or I can't, go to this event because I need that money to keep gas in my car so I can get to work. So there's going to be sacrifices that have to be made during that time of poverty. We also want to be mindful that sometimes our poverty can come from bad investments. You may have made an investment in something and it went wrong, or the people didn't, follow through, or they didn't, stick with it, or whatever the case may be. But you have to be mindful that sometimes, there were bad investments. They may have had good intentions, but, things possibly have gone wrong. And so that bad investment set you back a little bit and put you in a position of being considered in poverty, due to you have to have sacrifices, instead of when you're in the riches phase where you just, you got it, you got the abilities, the opportunities are coming, and it's all good. And so lastly, during the poverty stage, we need to be mindful that sometimes these are just acts of God. He is saying, let me see what you're going to do, because we have to be mindful of what happened with Job. Job was a righteous man. He had it all, and he didn't really, do something. It was a devil that was like, let me test him. And, the Lord was like, don't touch his heart, though. You can test him, but don't touch his heart. And he did. The devil took everything. And I mean, his children, that's the killer part. You took his children, you took his wealth, his riches, his cows, and his everything. You took everything that was of value to him, but you did not touch his heart. And so at the end, he said, may the name of the Lord be praised. Still, I came in this world with nothing. I'm gonna go out of here with nothing. So still, may the name of the Lord be praised, because I'm still here and he's still worthy to be praised. No matter what happens, no matter the circumstances, he is worthy to be praised. So we're going to go ahead and go to the next phase. And the next phase in our cycle, and the last phase in our cycle, because it's a 4-phase cycle, is going to be faith. The scriptural reference for this is going to be James 2:5. Which states, listen, my dear brothers and sisters, has not God chosen those who are poor in the eyes of the world to be rich in faith and to inherit the kingdom he promised those who love him. This is so important because we need to be mindful that he has chosen the ones who are poor in the eyes of the world. According to this world, you know, we may be the poor people. We are not a part of the millionaires club, but they consider us, well, they're just the poor people. It doesn't matter. But we are the people that God has chosen to be rich in faith because we trust him. He's rich. He got more money than all of y'all. He'll take your money and give it to me. He'll take your job and give it to me. Because you look down upon me. But you need to be mindful that he chose me because I love him. Because I love him. It says, has not God chosen those who are poor in the eyes of the world to be rich in faith and to inherit the kingdom he promised? So to inherit the kingdom he promised to those who love him. So what we want to do is we want to set our affections on things above. We also want to claim God's promises. And we also want to secure provisions by prayer. So during this time where we're increasing our faith and we're going through the motions of saying, Lord, now I have total faith in you. I had my moment where you blessed me and I had it all. And I'm maintaining that. And I went through the test. And, you know, during that testing time, I chose to do what was right according to your will and your ways. And I was led by the Spirit so that, you know, I would not get in trouble. And also during my time of poverty, you know, I still, you know, was mindful that nothing I came into this world with and nothing I will go out of this world with, but you are still worthy to be praised. And I made those sacrifices knowing that what I'm going to stand on your word. I'm going to have faith in your word, and your word lets us know that we can secure provisions by prayer, that we can claim your promises, and we are to set our affections on things above. So I have total faith and total trust in the fact that you are who you say you are, but you love me, and I stand on your word in all ways. So that is what's going to get us full circle. We're going to complete this cycle. We're going to go through the things that we needed to go through with him. We're going to be prayed up. We're going to manifest the next phase, which right after that is going to be right back into riches, because we leaned on him and he doesn't leave us and he doesn't forsake us. And so we want to be mindful that God does not view riches or poverty as a permanent condition in the life of an individual, family, or nation. They are a variable, and they are related to higher purposes which God achieves through them. So when you're going through this cycle, you need to be mindful that they are related to higher purposes which God achieves through us going through these things. The higher purpose is to get you closer to him. The higher purpose is to draw us in and let us understand that there is more to life than riches. We have to be mindful of the needs of others. We have to make good investments, as well as we need to be mindful that sometimes we're going to have to make sacrifices, and it's not always going to be easy, but we're going to go into that last phase of having faith and saying, Lord, I stand on your word. I claim your promises. I set my affections on the things above. And, you know, I want to secure my provisions through prayer with you. So I'm going to commune with you more. I'm going to speak with you more. I'm going to, you know, get with you more on what you want me to do with this money and with my life. We also want to recognize what we dealt with when it came to Christ in his financial situation. We want to be mindful that our scriptural reference is going to be pulled from 2 Corinthians 8 and 9, which states, "For you know the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, that though he was rich, yet for your sake he became poor, so that you through his poverty might become rich." So first of all, what we want to be mindful in this is that he became poor for us because he was rich, and he still is. This whole earth, it belongs to him. And so we want to be mindful that he became poor for us, so that because he did that, that we can become rich, because we're going to inherit with him the kingdom of heaven. And that's part of our inheritance. That is the first phase of, being in riches. We're going to have inheritance. We're going to inherit the kingdom of heaven. We're going to have skills and abilities that other people may not have, that don't love him. And we're going to be presented with opportunities that other people may never be presented with, or opportunities won't present themselves to them in the same way, due to the fact that we love him. But he became poor so that we can become rich. So as long as we follow through with these cycles and these steps, and we stick with the Lord throughout them, and be mindful that it's related to a higher purpose, which God achieves through them, then we're going to be secure in knowing that he's still with us through each of these phases, because he became poor so that we could become rich. And what we want to just go into lastly is the warning to the rich. Our scriptural reference is going to come from 1 Timothy chapter 6, verses 17 and 18. And it says, command those who are rich in this present world not to be arrogant, nor to put their hope in wealth, which is uncertain, but to put their hope in God, who richly provides us with everything for our enjoyment. Okay? And so in verse 18, it states, command them to do good, to be rich in deeds, and to be generous and willing to share. So when you are a rich person, okay, this is your warning. During that time, do good, to be rich in good deeds, and to be generous and willing to share. You be generous and you be willing to share. When someone says, I need your help, or I need you, or can you help me with this, then you do that. You be there for them, and you be supportive, and that's a warning. But you have a warning before destruction. So if you do not do those things, then destruction will befall you. And you're still going to go through the test. You're still going to go through the poverty, and you're going to build your faith or not. And that would be your decision and your choice. But giving you this information right now and bringing awareness to the cycles of riches and poverty when you're a child of God, it should give you some comfort. It should give you some level of understanding as to why is this happening. Everything seems like it's all good in one moment, and the next it doesn't, because you're going through the cycles for a higher purpose, which God achieves through you going through those things. These are faith builders, because the last phase is your faith. You're going to stand on the promises. You're going to secure provisions by prayer. So that's going to make you commune with him more and give all your heart to him. And you're also going to set your affections on the things above, being mindful that you came into this world naked. So it doesn't matter. Remember that you're just going through a cycle for a higher purpose, and receive that and understand that that is how he shows that he loves you, because he's making you greater through you going through these cycles. Again, as we finish this up, I want to invite you to connect with me. You can reach me on my YouTube at ProphetessBrandyMoss, on my Instagram, ProphetessBrandyMoss, on my Twitter, which is ProphetessBmoss, or on my website at www.ProphetessBrandyMoss.com. Or you can come worship with me at New Destiny Worship Center in Raleigh, North Carolina. I thank you for checking out this video, and have a blessed day. Bye-bye.